Hi friends, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome to Freshly Watched Movies. No wait, that's not right. So you may be a bit confused as to why I am doing a video that isn't seemingly about books at all, considering that is what my channel is dedicated to, books. But this is actually a video that I've wanted to make since watching this movie for the first time, which is kind of weird because I saw it long before I ever had my own YouTube channel, but I wanted to make it. A little background first, my most watched video on YouTube is probably this video by Drew Gooden, which is about a made-for-TV Christmas movie called Christmas Mail. Then, while watching A Million Terrible Holiday Movies a few years ago, which is a long-loved passion of mine, I came across a movie called Merry Christmas. And all I could think about was how great it would be as a video similar to the one that Drew made about Christmas Mail. In fact, I even went back to his video and commented on it, suggesting that he watch Merry Christmas. This is not from my current YouTube channel, but from another account because I didn't have this account at the time. But he's a huge creator and he's got tons of comments on that video. So 2 years later, I have finally come to admit that if I want to watch this video, I'm gonna have to make it myself. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. So fun fact, this is actually my only Christmas sweater, and it's not even really a Christmas sweater, it's a Festivus sweater. But in my opinion, it's really the only one you need.
Hey, happy Festivus, everyone!
So as I've said, this movie is called Merry Christmas, which I actually had a hard time finding because I thought it was called A Christmas Kiss, but after Googling Christmas, Kiss, and Baker and wading through all of the other movies that have those exact same three things, I did finally find it. And honestly, I forgot that it was called Merry Christmas, and what a fantastically terrible title for a fantastically terrible movie. Now this Christmas movie isn't like the others. It stars generic dude, generic girl, generic best friend, generic mean boyfriend, generic old... Wait, is that 5-time Emmy winner Doris Roberts? Well, I'm sure she'll have the best character and not be problematic at all. Actually, I thought this specific generic guy looked familiar to me. It's weird to say specific and generic in the same sentence back to back, but I thought he looked familiar to me, and I thought at first it was just because he looks like every other male lead in one of these movies, but actually he was in Pretty Little Liars. He was Noel Kahn, and that's based off of a book series, so boom, this video is now mentioned books and it can live on my channel.
It's kinda hot knowing you think I'm capable of murder.
Can I just say, it was like the perfect day for Curtis to make lattes. I feel like I'm living every Hallmark Christmas dream right now. So our story begins with a few shots of San Francisco.
So if there was a movie about your relationship, it would probably start with aerial shots of
San Francisco.
the skyline.
Exactly.
And Kayla and Carlton arriving at a hotel. From the first word that comes out of Carlton's mouth, we can already tell he's gonna be a terrible person. And I guess really word isn't correct because it's his name, because he expects you to know exactly who he is.
Morning, folks checking in? Well, of course, Carlton Wells. We've been expecting you.
So now you're probably thinking, like, what's this guy famous for? Is he like a singer, an actor? I don't know, a young politician? Nope, he's a choreographer. And somehow he's recognized for this several times throughout the movie. There is something I truly love about them entering the hotel, and the only other two people that are here look like they're dressed for Comic-Con. And we just have Carlton's accent, making it like so clear that he's gonna be like the jerk boyfriend of this.
That's the spirit.
I would like to clarify that just because Carlton has a British accent doesn't mean he's a terrible person, but it's the terrible British accent that he has that means that he's gonna be a terrible person in this world. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that the actor...
Well, why don't you answer this one, because this is really your story.
Yeah, he's American. I will say that this may be the only guy that plays like the jerk boyfriend in these movies that is actually into Christmas. Usually you can tell who's gonna be a nice character or like a good guy versus a bad guy based off of how into Christmas that they are, but Carlton walks into his hotel room and is upset by the lack of Christmas decorations when he's got a fully decorated tree in his hotel room.
No, there's not enough Christmas decorations. I want more.
I mean, the tree's even wearing a top hat. Like, what else could you need?
I want more.
And yeah, I know that like the movie's making it very clear that Carlton's a bad person, so you don't root for him. But honestly, it kind of seems like Kayla likes him for it. Like, she thinks it's cute that like he only wants to stay in a 5-star hotel.
I only stay in 5-star hotels. Oh, you knew that.
It's funny too because they're staying in a hotel that's 45 minutes away from where Carlton is choreographing this show. This is actually in Palo Alto. That's where the show is, which, by the way, has tons of 5-star hotels, at least 12 that I found online. I'm sure some of them were around in 2015 when this was made. But whatever, I guess we'll just believe that Palo Alto doesn't have any 5-star hotels and they'll stay in San Francisco. So now they have to leave the hotel and go there, and we get this awkward bit of exposition.
Leaving us so soon, Mr. and Mrs. Wells?
Oh, we're not married yet.
We're going to wait until after the new year.
Or when it fits in his schedule.
As well as see why Kayla might not like Carlton.
No, my name should be bigger.
I don't know why Carlton's complaining. I have never seen a show that puts the choreographer's name before the show title and has a picture of them on it. So Kayla's main problem with Carlton is that he treats her like a business manager, which is weird because we haven't really seen that yet, and she seems to think that he's really focused on work, but like she's the one that wanted to leave the hotel to get here right away.
Come on, we've got to get to the theater.
We've got time. Why in such a rush?
Okay, sure, Caleb, whatever you say.
I'm going in to meet my team. See you in a bit. Kisses.
I thought we were a team.
This conversation is so weird to me. Work's just been so crazy lately. Our team was handed a new project, but I think it's gonna be a great opportunity for us. Your team? Yeah, like the team of people I work with. But I thought we were a team. Okay, I gotta go. Huh? Oh, sure. I'll just go question our relationship without communicating my feelings to you at all, but I will fully discuss them with a guy dressed up as Santa on the street. Okay, bye. Oh, and for some reason, the dance rehearsals are happening here on stage in the theater with no set or anything, and like they're not in costume, so I don't know why they're already in the theater. And this will continue to be the case throughout the entire movie. We'll never get to see what the show is like, but we will get to see like these 6 dancers repeatedly on this stage, just kind of like doing this. So Carlton is here ready to work with his dancers, and Kayla's headed out to do something. Could they have not tried a little harder to line up this audio? Nope. Okay.
Make a donation, make a wish.
Oh good. Every bad Christmas movie needs to have this vaguely Santa Claus character. He like is either just an old man out on the street, or he's somebody that's literally dressed up as Santa, but like he's not Santa. But is he? But no, he couldn't be. But maybe through the magic of Christmas, he is. And also he grants wishes.
No wish?
And also he wants you to say your wish out loud to him. Do you know how weirded out I would be if I was like walking along and I saw one of those like Santas ringing a bell and I'm like, oh yeah, here's some change that I happen to have. And he's like, okay, well, what's your wish? What is it? That's weird, right? So while Kayla's walking around, she happens to find this nutcracker, which she collects. And it turns out the shopkeeper is someone that she knows.
Kayla Hansen.
I think she used to like live in this area. She knows people in Palo Alto. So this seems great, except actually it's not, because the shopkeeper is obsessed with her husband because he's a choreographer and everybody knows their favorite choreographer and happen to have a headshot ready to go so that they can get an autograph. Sorry, wait, where did you pull that out from? Okay, not even gonna touch that one. So this is enough to get Kayla to leave the store without buying the nutcracker at all. I guess it wasn't really that important to her. I'm saying that sarcastically, I know what's gonna happen later. Then we meet our leading man, Dustin, who is actually working on catering an event for Carlton, which turns out is their engagement party, Carlton and Kayla's engagement party. He's catering for that, and he's doing some research online because, as we know, Carlton is a very famous choreographer. And what's that? Even online you can see information about his fiance.
I read that Carlton's fiance collects nutcrackers.
Okay. Sure. Oh, but they do mention in this scene that apparently he's also a director, which, like, why didn't they tell us that first? That makes way more sense for, like, people to know who he is. Like, no offense to choreographers or anything, but, like, how many times have you been out on the street and some lady just, like, pulls a headshot out from under her shirt, you know? So Dustin is baking with Kim. Wait a second. Another nice, attractive female? And she's already friends with Dustin? Who is this lady?
Everything has to be perfect.
That's why I'm counting on you, Kim.
My trusty assistant and favorite cousin.
Whew, thanks, movie, for making sure that we don't accidentally root for the wrong couple. So Dustin leaves the office, goes into the elevator, and runs into this lady who is played by Doris Roberts. And oh no, why are they playing music like this?
Hi, Dustin.
Doris. Doris. Ew, are you sticking your fingers in his ear?
Who puts mistletoe in an elevator?
I do.
And yep, that's assault. And then the elevator breaks down.
I think we're stuck together.
And she goes for it again.
They say what happens in this elevator stays in this elevator.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Thanks for nothing, lover boy.
Yeah, I think I might need therapy after that, but Dustin somehow is totally fine and just sees it as this cute, quirky, adorable old lady thing. Kayla then gets back to the theater and is annoyed when she sits next to Carlton and he doesn't immediately stop what he's doing.
Before we were engaged, you used to hold me close and kiss me and tell me that you loved me.
You mean like this?
You take such good care of me, darling. That's why I love you.
And this?
Let's go.
All right. We're coming back.
And then we get to see Dustin explain the elevator situation.
There's this sweet old lady in my building.
Yeah, sweet is one word for it.
And somebody hung mistletoe in the elevator.
She literally said she hung that mistletoe.
No way! The elevator?
Anyway, the lady that Dustin is talking to is named Jana, who is one of Kayla's dearest friends.
She's a dear friend of mine.
And she's also planning the engagement party for Kayla and Carlton. So then we get this moment that these movies love to do where we get a near miss of the couple that is going to end up together at the end of this. Also, in case you weren't clear that Carlton was a jerk, he can't seem to remember Jana's name and will say any other J name confidently when referring to her.
I hope we don't have to spend too much time with, Jada today.
Her name is Jana.
Are you with Jacqueline?
Yes, I'm with Jana.
I know that, Netta is your friend.
Jana.
Jada.
Actually, it's Jana.
Hi, Jada.
Also, everyone here is freaking out that Carlton Wells is here, you know, choreographer to the stars. So Dustin is walking back and he ends up seeing the nutcracker that Kayla saw earlier, and he can tell immediately how special it is, of course. But oh no, the shop is closing right this second. So he comes back in the morning and we get our second near meeting of the main couple of the movie. Oh, and we can see that our carolers are out early, ready to get started on another day of singing. So yeah, Kayla comes back for this nutcracker that Dustin has just purchased, which honestly I don't really understand because yesterday she wanted to leave the store without talking to the lady. Like the nutcracker wasn't worth having a conversation with this lady, but today for some reason maybe it is worth talking to her. But then as soon as she finds out that the nutcracker has been sold...
Do you have another one? No, it was one of a kind. It was very beautiful. I should have stock in nutcrackers. Oh.
She leaves while the lady, Mrs. Joyner, is still talking. And we get my favorite part of the entire movie. So Mrs. Joyner abandons her store with presumably no one else working there because we haven't seen anybody else there. And she runs after Kayla, who is just now passing by the carolers that have already gotten started singing with what I'm starting to assume is the only song that they know. And wait, what temperature is it? Are you really gonna make this lady wear like a fur hat, a turtleneck, and a scarf? I can see the extras in the background that are clearly not dressed this way. So Kayla starts to actually like make a run for it while Mrs. Joyner tells these carolers that... So now I'm thinking, okay, these carolers not only know just one song, but also they only know one verse of that song, and that verse literally consists of just one sentence. We then get the most like rude and awkward chase scene that I think I've ever seen in a movie. And what's this? They're heading in the same direction as Dustin's building, and now she's running into the building. Now, I'd like to ask you quickly what you think Kayla's going to do in this situation. Well, if you said run into the elevator and kiss Dustin in front of a woman that knows that she's engaged to another man, then you would be correct. Also, I'd like to say that we will flash back to this scene twice in the next 5 minutes. I'm not going to show it to you, just know that that does happen, and you have to sit through it. Not only that, but after Mrs. Joyner leaves,
Oh, the store!
they kiss again because apparently this elevator is magic. So Kayla can't help kissing a stranger. But don't worry, because what happens in the elevator stays in the elevator. Right, Doris? No, wait, Doris, what are you doing back here? Please, no, not again. So immediately, Dustin is in love.
It works.
What works?
The elevator.
I assume with Kayla and not Mrs. Billings, who's Doris Roberts' character. I haven't called her by her character's name, but mostly because like I don't know what her first name is, and it's weird calling her Mrs. Billings. So Dustin's in love, but he decides that he really just needs to like focus on work. This is a very big theme in all of these Christmas movies. What could possibly be the reason why one person is not into another person that they've seemingly fallen in love with immediately? Because they're just too busy right now. They got too much going on. They're making too many cookies.
Dustin, if what they say about the elevator is true, it paired you two for a reason.
Okay, Kim, so by your logic here, if the elevator really is bringing people together, it's brought Dustin and Mrs. Billings together twice, and him and Kayla together only once. So who does the elevator really want Dustin to end up with? I guess it's always the person you least expect, eh, Dustin?
Damn elevator!
And now I'd like to take a second to talk to you about the layout of Dustin's building. Actually, just give me 1 second. Okay, so going up to the entrance of Dustin's building, you have to go up quite a few stairs. So we'll have those. And then we'll say this is the door, the entryway, that's a door. And then, so inside we have the elevator here. It's magic, so we'll put, ooh, there's mistletoe because Mrs. Billings is a creep. So you come in, you go into the elevator, which presumably you would ride up, right? But no, because Dustin's office is actually on the ground floor, which you can tell because when you look outside his windows, there are cars here. What is that? That's a car with one wheel. Yeah, that's cars. That's another, why did I draw another car with just one wheel? How did I like make the mistake and then immediately make the same mistake again? Okay, so yeah, this is his office. So maybe you're thinking, well, you know, you have to go up these stairs, right? So maybe actually they're taking the elevator down when they go to the office. But no, actually, because in this scene, when Dustin is leaving his office for the first time, you see him press the down button, leaving his office to go and leave the building to go then meet up with Jana. So actually, no, it is supposed to be higher, but it's on street level. But for some reason, they still need to get in this elevator because it's magic and he needs to get assaulted by Doris Roberts. And this isn't, I shouldn't care this much about this. Okay, my bad. I got out of hand. Let's get back to the movie. So Kayla meets up with Jana, and I was actually surprised because the movie has Jana talking about like what's going on in her life, and it's a really nice moment because usually they don't have the best friend character do that. And wait, sorry, is Kayla just not even paying attention? And oh my God, is this the third flashback to the kiss? I misremembered. That's actually 3 flashbacks in, yep, still less than 5 minutes from when the kiss actually occurred. All right, and now it's time for Dustin to show off the catering menu he's been working on for this engagement party. So let's hear it, Dustin. What's the big plan for wowing this couple?
Okay, perfect. We got access to the freezers. Yes. We put the thing in the oven. I got the nutcracker out. I think Carlton and his fiance are gonna love it. It's perfect.
Okay. Yep, sounds good, Dustin. So this is basically a moment where Kayla and Carlton get to see the catering menu and also like the venue and everything. But Kayla walks in first because Carlton's on the phone, and then she sees it. Her one true love. That stupid nutcracker from that store. Seriously, get you someone who looks at you like Kayla looks at this nutcracker.
Wait, was he in the elevator?
Yeah.
So Kayla starts reading from like this pamphlet and like, oh, this is like a way bigger deal than it should be. Okay, so this pamphlet has got this story in it. I mean, actually it's got a bunch of Latin filler text, but like it's got this story in it that is about the maker of the nutcracker, but not about him making it. It's actually about him being with his wife for a long time. Which like cute, like I guess cute thing to put with the nutcrackers, that people can read about the fact that the person that made their thing is married.
They've been together for 58 years. I would love to write about this.
You should.
Ooh, this I really like, my permanent marker. And oh, what's this that it says? Mr. and Mrs. Sharpie have been together for 5 billion years. Great. You know what? I think I'll write a story about this. Like it's a cute idea, right? To have this pamphlet that says you whatever. But like, what are you gonna add to this? And like, where does it go? Is this like an article for like a magazine? Like, what do you mean you'd like to write a story about this? So then Carlton comes in and like definitely marks his territory.
Kayla is my fiancée.
But also gets offended by the nutcracker that's on the table.
Get rid of that thing.
Well, get rid of what?
That nutcracker. It looks nothing like the one we're using in the ballet.
Which of course shows that he is clearly not the guy for Kayla. The guy for Kayla would be able to see that this nutcracker is the most special, generic looking nutcracker that anybody has ever seen. I like don't understand this whole nutcracker thing. It looks like literally every other nutcracker. And then Carlton like kind of notices that there's like a bit of this thing going on between Kayla and Dustin. And Kayla basically puts the blame on Carlton for her flirting with Dustin like in that interaction.
Maybe if you paid attention to me, I wouldn't be searching for attention from other men.
But also, like, don't forget, Kayla, you kissed him earlier today. Like, that happened. You did that. Are you also blaming Carlton for that? So she ends up breaking up with him.
You and I are done.
And then she says that she'll always love him. And then he says that he loves her. And then she's like super confused about it.
Carlton, I will always love you. But we don't fit.
Well, I'll always love you too, Kayla.
Okay, now you're confusing me.
And like, I'd like to ask you, which person is more confusing in this? The person that says, hey, I want to break up, I love you? Or the person that goes, I love you too? It kind of seems like it's the one that's doing the breaking up. Like, I get that Carlton's not a good person or whatever. I'm not saying you should stay with him. Like, you should definitely leave him. But it's not like confusing that he said he loves you. He was gonna marry you. So meanwhile, Kim and Jana are trying to convince Dustin to go after Kayla because they saw one interaction with the two of them and oh, they need to get together. And he's like, no, she's like engaged. And Jana's like, you know what, actually? I don't think it's working out there.
She's not really with Carlton.
But what do you mean?
Oh, they are so obviously not in love. I mean, they've probably already broken up and are just staying together through the Nutcracker performance.
Which is pretty rude for the best friend of Kayla to say, who's literally planning their engagement party. But okay, Jana, you saw one conversation between Dustin and Kayla. Just go ahead and jump ship and ship that ship. He, of course, ignores this by saying, I just need to like focus on work and love isn't for me. But just kidding, he is actually on his way now to go the 45 minutes to their hotel so that he can give Kayla this nutcracker, which he ends up needing to leave with the bellhop that he has to like bribe to give it to her. Like, he was okay with giving it to her, and then he's like, yeah, it's Carlton Wells' fiance, which I don't know why you had to say that. But then the bellhop's like, a man trying to give a woman something that is engaged to somebody else? Mm-mm. And he's like, here's money. He's like, all right, I'll do it.
Sure. I'd be happy to take your item to the suite.
And so, of course, like on this little sticky note, it says, write your story. And like, what story? What is she gonna write from the information in this pamphlet? She then falls asleep on the couch of the hotel room because she's just been working so hard on writing an email to the guy that made the nutcracker.
That nutcracker, did Jana leave that for you?
Oh my God, he did it. He remembered her name. So Carlton leaves and it turns out that the nutcracker can talk? Kayla. Okay, that didn't happen, but like, with the magical elevator and like the maybe magic wishing Santa Claus that's outside, you know, it wasn't that far-fetched really. And I guess because it doesn't talk, she brings it back to Dustin because I don't know, it's just this back and forth with this stupid nutcracker. And of course they end up back on the elevator, which once again breaks down, presumably because it's in a building that doesn't physically make sense. Okay, I'll stop bringing that up. And apparently now the story that Kayla's writing is gonna be like a whole book. Because like, why not? Then Kim runs into them and is like, hey, I need to like bake cookies for the animal shelter. So she kind of ropes them into doing that with her. And you know what that means. Baking montage. Oh, okay. I just got hot dancing along with that montage. All right, let's check back in with Carlton and see where he's at with his choreography that he is so famous for.
And 3, 2, 1. Come on, ladies. Here we go.
It should be getting pretty good because we're getting really close to the performance now.
I'm whipping you into shape. It's good and all day, ladies. Come on. Yes, excellent.
Are you sure? I'm no famous choreographer that gets asked for like autographs multiple times in one bar, but I'm pretty sure this is not good. At least the Sugar Plum Fairy knows what's up.
It's not going well. These girls, they're subpar.
Not that she's all that good either. Oh, also, if we didn't have enough reasons to dislike Carlton, this is like the icing on the cake. Oh, he's sleeping with the Sugar Plum Fairy. We don't technically know that, but like we know that, but we don't. And it's never confirmed if he is or not. But he does talk closely to her and says things like darling. So I don't know, I mean, probably is, I guess. It's what the movie's implying to us. So now we finally meet Joshua, who is the guy that runs the animal shelter. And he like really talks up how great Dustin is.
Well, that's the word I would use to describe him, generous. He offered to donate all the cookies for the charity event.
No, Kim did that, and Dustin was actually really upset about it because they had too much work, but okay.
Tell me you didn't offer him any more dog cookies?
How'd you know?
Yes, we'll be baking cookies tomorrow and bringing them by the animal shelter.
I'm assuming Joshua does all this to like guilt Dustin into buying a dog because like immediately afterwards he's like, hey, I found this like great dog for you. He's very persuasive, but Dustin's just like, oh, my life is just like too crazy right now. But don't worry, because he'll change his mind in like 24 hours or whatever. All right, and I'd like to say about this one thing that Dustin keeps mentioning. He keeps saying like about how the few relationships he's been in have all ended in failure. And it's like, yeah, dude, like that's how relationships work before you're like married to somebody. You date people and it doesn't work out unless it's like a polygamous situation and like they just like married each of these people and are still in ongoing relationships with them. Like he seems to think that he's bad at relationships because he hasn't married every single one of his past girlfriends. Like, come on, Dustin, like let's think logically here. You have the same problem that literally everybody has, and it's not a problem, it is just life. So Kayla goes out to dinner with Jana, and she's feeling uncertain about this breakup with Carlton. But then Carlton shows up with the Sugar Plum Fairy princess. Sugar Plum Fairy, right? I think so. And he's talking like really close to her, and Jana sees it, but she doesn't say anything.
You all right?
No. Yeah, I just thought that I saw someone that I knew.
Despite prior to this taking like every opportunity to separate Kayla from Carlton, like so much so that she just like meets another dude that talks to Kayla and she's like, you should go for that guy. I mean, like the conversation that they're having like right now is about how she should be with Dustin instead of Carlton. And she sees Carlton with this other girl knowing that Kayla has already broken up with him, but she's like unsure if she made the wrong decision. And she's not like, well, it looks like he's like talking it up with the Sugar Plum Fairy over there right now. She later explains this as she didn't want to upset her. Like, Janet, she's already upset. You can tell her. It might actually help her realize that she made the right choice. So Kayla spends like all night making postcards or something for this like catering business as a thank you for, I don't know, like catering her engagement party, maybe for the Nutcracker. I don't really remember. But Dustin gets like super upset about this, that she was working on that instead of working on her Nutcracker story.
What about the Nutcracker artist? Didn't you work on the story?
I'm sorry if I crossed a boundary.
It's not that you crossed a boundary. It's that you should have set a boundary.
I'd be like, okay, calm down. I'm like capable of managing my own time. Thank you very much. And also I did something very nice for you. So please say thank you. She's so worried that Kayla's not going to do the things that she wants to do, and also doesn't believe that she's capable of knowing what she wants to do and doing them. Like maybe she wanted to make postcards. Maybe that's something she also likes. You've known her for like 2 seconds. Calm down. She of course runs into the Santa after this because we know we need a magical thing to happen. And the elevator's been used too regularly already. So she runs into Santa.
You look like you could use a wish coming true.
So she wishes that she could set better boundaries, and Santa's like, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. Like maybe you should do the things that you want to have done.
Don't just wish it, make them come true.
Imagine a genie who is like, I know I said 3 wishes, but that's on you to make that happen. Just like Be empowered. You got this. So Kayla texts Dustin saying that she's finally emailed the maker of this nutcracker, which makes me realize that earlier when she fell asleep on the couch writing that email, she like never even got through it. Like it was so exhausting just starting that she just wasn't able to actually write it and send it. Not only that, but she spent hours researching him and seemingly only discovered that his wife is an astronomer.
I better get a signed copy of your book.
Then we get this like way too long montage of Kayla and Dustin like dating, even though presumably she is going back to her hotel room every night, like to be with her ex-fiance, which is weird. And they spend some time in Mrs. Joyner's store, which actually really annoys me more than it should, because she literally ran in heels away from this store the last time Mrs. Joyner even wanted to talk to her. But I guess you never know when you're gonna see more handiwork from that nutcracker maker. And actually, wait, what's that? There's one of those items from the pamphlet. Kayla, look, aren't you gonna get that? What? Is it only good if it's a nutcracker? Okay, fine. Back to this insufferably long montage. Okay, now it's ending and they are in the same clothes they started it in. And uh-oh, Carlton's really pulling out all the stops here. We've got a romantic dinner. All right, Carlton, now here's your chance. Really talk yourself up.
I'm tough. I'm opinionated. I'm pompous. I'm a perfectionist. I've lived most of my career for myself.
I have this weird fake British accent. I made the decision to shave my facial hair like this every day. I'm sleeping with the sugar plum fairy. And for all of those reasons, I think we should still get married. At this point, it kind of feels like that stupid Santa is just like popping up whenever Kayla's just even outside, and it's starting to get like a little bit creepy.
Good morning, Smiles. Oh, where's the smile?
He literally comes over and he's like, "You want love?" And she's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, figure it out." And I like, why is he here anymore? Oh, and I guess now you don't just wish on Santas, you also wish in fountains. You just said you don't know what to wish for. I feel like as I get further and further through this movie, I just get further and further down in my chair, and I just had to admit that by lowering the angle on my camera. But we're almost there now, which you wouldn't think, because Kayla, after making these wishes, is like, you know what? I should break things off with Dustin. What?
I screwed that up, didn't I? She's right. This is for the best.
Which is it, Dustin? Did you screw it up, or is this for the best? And now, Kayla's trying to make it work with Carlton. Yeah. That is for about like 2 hours until she decides actually, no. They like go to the engagement party and he like talks to her about work, and then he goes and says hi to the sugar plum fairy, and then that's what does it. The same information that we had previously is what does it. Except I guess technically she didn't know the thing about the sugar plum fairy, but also he doesn't really like do anything in this. He just goes over and says hi, and then Jana's like, yeah, I saw them when we were at dinner. And if I was Kayla, I would be like, why didn't you say anything? Like, why didn't you say like, hey, look, there's your fiance? So obviously, you know what happens. Kayla and Carlton break up again, because of course they do. This is the final time though. We did make it to the final time when they're like, no, we're done. So Kayla is ready to fly out. Just kidding. She actually just changed her mind like 2 seconds after you realized she was gonna fly out, and she's going to go see Dustin.
Can I get you a cab?
No. Wait.
You're changing your mind, huh?
Yeah. What do you have a problem with a strong woman?
Oh, nope.
What makes changing your mind make you a strong woman? And also, is anybody staying in the San Francisco hotel? So far, we've just seen the bellhop and the 2 people that were here for like Comic-Con. So at the same time, of course, Dustin's like, you know what? I should go after her. So he wants to go see Kayla while Kayla's heading to see him, and then he gets stuck in the elevator. And then apparently this elevator's broken down for like 30 minutes. Kayla shows up. There's this huge crowd of people that's like standing there waiting to use the elevator, even though there are definitely stairs.
Why do I always forget to take the stairs?
But, you know, I guess we need this crowd of people here for when Dustin proclaims his love for Kayla, which he does by being mad at the elevator and like talking to the elevator and being like, how dare you keep me from Kayla? You're the worst. You're supposed to help me. You got her to kiss me. Also wasn't cool how you also had Doris Roberts kiss me without my consent. He didn't say that part. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, this elevator is like really creepy, because also Kayla kissed him without his consent. Like he ended up you know, being very happy with this. But like this elevator, the more I'm thinking about it, is kind of just enabling predators. I'll say it.
Damn elevator!
I guess not all magic is good magic.
I practically rolled out the red carpet for Kayla to leave me.
Who's Kayla?
Basically, Dustin's like, you brought this girl to my life, now you can't let me get to her to win her back or whatever. And then it turns out everybody in the lobby can hear him. The elevator starts working again, and you know, yay, they're together. And then 1 year later, we see the real reason for the making of this movie. That's right. It's basically a K commercial. Because, you know, every kiss begins with K, and also a magic elevator, and a mediocre looking nutcracker, and that Santa Claus sits out on the sidewalk. Anyways, they of course live happily ever after. Emphasis on the happy.
Look so happy.
They were made with happy.
Real happy's coming up. So what's the happy?
This is the happy. Seriously happy.
Now, just as a little Christmas treat from me to you, I've decided that just because the movie didn't let you see Carlton's version of the Nutcracker doesn't mean I can't put one together for you. I did have to get a little creative with the clips that I pulled together because there weren't enough shots of the dancers. But I now present to you, Freshly Read Books presents, Carlton Wells presents, The Nutcracker. And that's that. I hope that you can see now why I love so much this terrible Christmas movie and why I wanted so badly to talk about it. I had a lot of fun making this video. I know it's very different than the normal videos that I make. So if you made it here, like to the end of this video, thank you so much. That's really cool, and I'm glad that you stayed for the whole thing. I assume because you liked it. But if you did, then please do let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll make more videos like this. And I guess with that, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good kiss. Night. Bye. Kayla. I'm gonna have to make it myself. Merry Christmas, you filthy.